Hello, 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 everybody.
Hello, how's everybody today?
Hello, 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 hello.
All right. So, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day, the day before Easter. We have a really important topic we think is really important. It's overachievers versus underachievers. What's the difference? So I know we heard, about people that have been highly successful, and then people with really good ideas that aren't as successful for whatever reason. So I'm Niji. My co-host is Mel, and then we have cousin Skip. So I'm gonna transfer it over to Mel. Um, let us know what's going on, Mel.
Hey, how's everybody out there doing? I pretty much chose this topic because it's a topic that I've been on both ends of the stick with. So I think I have a pretty vast array of knowledge of it. If you go to my playbook, or either my podcast, One Man, One Opinion, it tells you all about bankruptcy and how I went through it many years ago. Bankrupting $8 million, 737 cents, some crazy number like that. 57 houses, and it was just a whole if I can use this language, shitstorm of everything that could go wrong did go wrong. From age probably 23 till I was maybe 31. I amassed all that money off of somebody just taking the time to teach me and show me how the real estate game worked. And this was back in the 90s. So I'm probably dating myself on my age, so but don't pay that any attention. But it's all in the thing of rebounding and coming back. And I chose this topic because I feel that everybody doesn't have the same work ethic, but we all want the same results. We see the guy driving down the street in a Bentley, and we like, wow, that's a nice Bentley. I wonder what he does, but nobody understands that it could be divorce behind that Bentley. It could be bankruptcy behind that Bentley. It can be multiple businesses that fail behind that Bentley. It could be a whole lot of different things. So, what makes a underachiever versus an overachiever? What is the difference? And that's going to be a topic of our conversation for today.
Okay, cousin Skip.
So, which shall we tackle first, overachievers or underachievers?
Let's do underachievers first.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in my estimation, according to the textbook, it says an underachiever is a person who fails to achieve their potential or does not do as well as expected by their peers. Of particular interest is academic underachievement regarding underachievers. However, we know that underachieving can apply to a person's life and lifestyle. Um, Everybody doesn't have the same motor. Everybody doesn't have the same interest in accomplishing goals. There are many people who are more capable than their level of success will attest to. Well, in that estimation, you would probably say these people are underachievers. I would count myself as an underachiever for various and sundry reasons. However, I'm not extremely disappointed about that. I have my goals and I'm working on those goals. However, I do realize that I could put far more effort into my objectives if I chose to. However, I have to balance those things. Nancy?
Yeah, I would agree. I think I think I'll say this. I think that everybody has a level of underachieving and overachieving in their life, right? So I think some people may overachieve as it relates to business, but underachieve in terms of personal relationships, or overachieve in personal relationships and underachieve in business. So I think I think there's a balance, and I think not even a balance. I think there's sometimes a difference, and sometimes there are people that overachieve in their business and professional, personal life. But I'm with you. I think everybody meets their goals differently. Sometimes some people need more of a kick than other people. Some people will have really good ideas and have no and really don't know how to implement. You know what I mean? Or don't know what it takes to move it from point A to point B.
Sure.
Um, is that an underachiever? I guess it would be. Um, I think would that be Mel? That would be considered underachiever, right? I would think
I
that
mean,
because sometimes people do need a push.
my interpretation may not be your interpretation of it. So
Okay.
I don't want to say yeah it is, and that's not what it is. So you have to be the judge of that.
Well, like I said, I think we should. I guess the question for me is, what's the barometer to what is considered an overachiever? Is it financial wealth? Is it status? What is the barometer? And what's the barometer for
No,
somebody that's an underachiever? And these are
no,
just questions. I do the
the
question.
you're right. The barometer I think on the underachieving side, as we say, we want to talk about first is that when you set out a goal to do something or to get a certain place, um, and I hate to hear this all the time, and I hear this from people all the time. Oh, I'm a work in progress. Oh, I'm just a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. Well, if everything in life was a work in progress, you realize nobody would have a car and nobody would have a house because we would always continue to be working on trying to be that work in progress. That car would be a work in progress. That house would be a work in progress. That house would never have a roof or that house would never have plumbing. So my thing about it is that always have I'm a work in progress. Eventually, when they build your house, eventually they give you the keys to the house and you move in and the work is done. So my thing about it is that when it comes down to underachieving, even failing, and I have a T-shirt that your son did for me, Nancy, and it's called "I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying."
Hmm.
Or when you have a whole bunch of excuses that lead to nowhere, or they lead to nothing. And my thing about it is that I stopped calling failure failure, and I started calling it practice, because that's all it is. It's just your practice for your next round, and it's to prepare you to get to the next level. I had somebody,
The next level of failure.
yeah, yeah. Failure will propel you to your next level. I had a guy that's in my consulting group that we were going to let go because he had made a series of mistakes, and my partners wanted to fire him. And so they came to me and they said, "Well, we need to get rid of him. For brand recognition, for this, for that, for this, for that, and just everything they threw at me." And for 1/10 of a second, I thought about firing him. But then again, I thought to myself, I said, you know what? We may didn't get the $3 million contract, but we got a $3 million education and we got a $3 million lesson on what not to do on the next go around. So we kept him and he's been chugging along ever since, and he's been doing well for us ever since. And I'm glad that I decided, and I'll say and I'm sure they're gonna watch this podcast. I decided not to let him go because I think that, and for me, when you fire somebody, you just don't fire them. You fire the entire family, and I didn't want to see that for that individual uh, or that purpose. But and I know it probably was selfish purpose, but nevertheless, I think that when you underachieve on a level, sometimes it's low expectations you might have, or people have a habit of always putting their um their onus and their angst off on you. I looked at an article that Jay-Z wrote and his uncle said, "You'll never ever sell millions and millions of albums." And he said, "Now that I've sold millions and millions of albums, what is he gonna say that I can't do next?" So my thing about it is that even if you fail at it and you're an underachiever, at least you got out there and tried. There's always those people that are sitting on the side of the pool asking, is the pool water cold? How deep is it? Jump in and find out. Jump in and find out. That's what you have to do. And especially like I said, when you fail and you're already an underdog and you're already failing and you're not doing anything about it, you hey, that's not on nobody else. And you find that when you ask for help and you're an underachiever, there are people out there that will help you. There are people out there that will help you get to where you need to be at. And you have to have an attitude of gratitude when it comes down to it. And I've said this before in our other podcasts. There's two words that get you further than you agree, and that's called please and thank you. And that will get you anywhere that you need to be as far as in your attitude, your whole attitude altogether. Because you hear people talking all the time, and y'all know because we're on social media all the time. I'm a boss. Oh, I'm the boss. Oh, I'm the CEO. I'm the boss. That's just black people always hollering. You ain't hear the guys at Coca-Cola on CNN hollering, I'm the boss, or people at Pepsi hollering, I'm the boss. They let the whoever interviewing them tell them what they are and what they do and different things like that. Yeah, I mean, you ain't hear black people say, "Oh, I'm the boss," or "I'm running this," or "I'm doing this," "I'm doing that." And if you ask them what were their numbers for the last year, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know from a can of paint.
So I have a
So
question.
go ahead.
You said that one of the things that you hear people say all the time is that they're a work in progress. Can you unpack that a little bit? Because I think we're all a work in progress. I think, we set a goal. If you set a goal, you meet that goal. There's always another goal. So you really are still a work in progress, because if you're not a work in progress, then to me that says that you've arrived. You've perfected everything that you've tried to do.
Well,
Um,
maybe you have. Well,
and I now
Law.
I understand that some people use that work in progress as an excuse to kind of stay where they are. I get that part, but I think in my opinion, think we all are a work in progress in one area or another in our life. Because I don't think anybody has arrived. I don't.
Well, maybe,
I,
maybe, and all that can be predicated on opinion. But I think that my thing about it is that how long are you going to be at work in any progress? How long is your work going to? Is your work going to take the rest of your life for you to finish that particular goal, or to get across that finish line, or to move to that next level? How long is your progress going to take? And how long is the work going to take? You know
so
what I mean?
so
So,
work
so,
in
so you
progress.
got to ask yourself, what am I really doing? Am I really uh bullshitting myself saying that I'm a work in progress? And we're not talking and be it socially, be it financially, be it physically, be it emotionally, be it whatever. How long is it going to take you to complete some of these goals, or to get to some of these missions? Or because I knew it took somebody to pull my coattail and put foot to my ass for me to finish my book. Or it probably wouldn't have been, or I probably wouldn't have been finished. I probably would have still been working on it and saying that life is still happening to me. I can't finish it. And so I had somebody say, "Hey, look, you got another book in you. You need to cut it. You need to finish it. You need to be done with it." And I need to get that level. I couldn't go to that person and tell that person, "Oh, well, it's still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress." I couldn't say that. And they weren't going to allow me to use that as a handle. I use that as an excuse. That just doesn't work. And out in the real world, when you go out there, it's like these kids on social media now. These kids nowadays, they wouldn't be able to be raised in the 80s, in the 90s, and in the 70s, and in the 60s. They wouldn't be able to stand that kind of pressure. They think they're getting bullied now with these phones and all the rest of these iPads and all that type of stuff like that. They wouldn't have been able to deal with the pressure that we got growing up as kids. So it makes no difference. This is what it
We
is.
we have a comment.
Sure.
Can someone read that? I have contacts on, so I can't really see it. Cousin Skip, can you
Um.
see that? Or Mel?
Would. Uh. would appreciate tips on how to overcome uh internal conflict in order to achieve goals, how to hold on to your passions.
That's a good question.
This is a hell of a question.
I
It's a
think it's a very
very,
good
very good
question.
question. And it came from Tina Matthews, you know her, did you?
Yeah.
Well, take the question then. Take the question for
Well,
Tina.
no, no. This is you
Okay,
ready?
look,
It's a good question. Or cousin Skip, one of y'all.
in reference to being a work in progress, like you said, Mel, that's a subjective thing because the way I understand the way you're commenting about a work in progress, it seems as though there is no stage at which a person succeeds at doing something if they are a continual work in progress. Is that your position?
I love it.
My position is whether you win, lose, or draw, eventually the race is going to be over, and they're gonna call a winner and they're gonna call a loser, and you got to figure out which end of the stick that you're gonna be on. Whether you're gonna win the race, that you're gonna condition yourself to win the race, or you're gonna condition yourself to lose the race. And a lot of us, we're all in life, we're all are born to win, but we all condition ourselves to lose. We condition ourselves every day to lose. And the reason why I say that is that, and it will be, look at the TV shows that we watch, look at the people that we hang around with, look at um look at the company that we keep, look at the things that we do on the internet. That's all mental conditioning. It's all conditioning. Like the word television, it means to tell a vision. So it's telling you a vision on what you should be, what you should do, this, that, and other, so forth and so on. And I think that me and Nancy probably had this conversation face to face when we were talking about like ratchet TV, people throwing drinks on each other and just acting a fool and stuff like that. And you saying to yourself, who does that in real life? But like we just say all the time, a lie is more convincing than the truth. Do you want me to get to Tina's uh
Yeah, yeah. Did that answer your question,
question?
cousin Skip?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
Okay.
gets
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. People portion your tips on overcoming new conflicts, internal conflict. Okay, the thing with internal conflicts, Tina, and I'll be totally honest with you. When I wake up in the morning, if I don't say some type of prayer or meditate or talk to somebody who's in a positive light, um, my demons will get the best of me. Some days I'll have my demons doing jumping jacks. Other days they'll have me doing jumping jacks. So it just all depends. So I can't call it a work in progress. I have to call it that every single day. I tell myself that this is what I need to work on and this is what I need to do in order to level up and get to the next level. And there's certain things you have to cut out in your life, Tina. There's certain people you got to cut out in your life, even if it's family members, even if it's your children, your mother, your father, people that you're close to. Sometimes you have to break them down and you have to cut them out because they're not going the same way that you're going. Are they trying to invoke their opinion off on you that's not positive for you at all? So you have to drop them off and keep going from there. Because I tell everybody, you got one life to live. When you die and they put you that toe tag on you, ain't nobody gonna say, "Take one, Nancy, get up, let's start the show over again." It's not that way. It's pretty much a done deal from there. So that would be my thing over incoming your internal conflicts to in order to reach your goal. Put yourself around people who are smarter than you. Put yourself around people who are high achievers that are doing more than you, because they'll pull you into their zone and they'll pull you into their direction. Um, Cousin Skip is one of my favorite people because he's very much more mature than I am, much more mature than I am. Um, and much more knowledgeable about a lot of things that I don't know anything about, and he's much more compassionate than I am about a lot of different things. So he is one of my favorite people on the planet, next to Miss Giles and another other people. And I have people now that I'm older that I call my grandparents, people that I can go over their house, sit down, um, eat some collard greens, some cabbage, and get cursed out, told what I'm not doing, what I should be doing, and that whole type of thing. 'Cause sometimes your friends become your family because you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends, and you can choose the family that you make for yourself in this life. So I hope that was some help to you, Tina.
Yeah, Tina said great advice. Thank you, Mel. Callers, listen, we would love to hear from each and every one of you. The phone number is 202-227-6500. Feel free to give us a call. The phone lines are open. I still want to know, I still believe that we are all a work in progress. And I'm going to say that. And because I don't think any of us, um, I just don't think when it's all said and done, no one will be at perfection. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're always improving and you're always improving, you will always be a work in progress. Now, a work in progress does not mean not meeting any goals. Not meeting any goals. You might meet goal 1 and you're a work in progress to goal 2. You meet goal 2, you're a work in progress to goal 3. So I just want to make sure we're not telling people you got to be perfect to win, or you're a loser.
I
So
think
you're
in
just
No,
saying
reference,
you can't be redundant. You can't be, I'm a work in progress as an excuse not to do anything. Is that what you mean? Like, don't say I'm a work in progress and that's your excuse not to do anything. It's one thing to say you're a work in progress because you are actually working on, I don't know, maybe you're on goal 3. You done made goal 1 and 2. You're on goal 3. So I think there's a difference. I think there are those that sound work in progress to kind of avoid having to be responsible for doing anything. And then there's those that are truly a work in progress.
Skip.
in reference to the comment about how do you hold on to your passion. If
Oh,
there's something, I don't think we really need to belabor this. I mean, everybody has their opinion about what is being a work in progress. Um, but in reference to holding on to your passion, if there is something that you desire that you want to accomplish, well, the way that you hold on to your passion for that is you continue to work on that thing and become better at it until you reach a place where you feel satisfied with yourself that
right,
you've reached the particular standard or goal that you've set for yourself. Now, I'm not in the camp that everybody is either an overachiever or an underachiever. I don't subscribe to that at all because some people are happy to set an objective, achieve that objective, and simply continue to polish that for themselves
right, right,
thereafter. And I don't see that as being an underachiever because you don't want to pile on top of that. So I think it's important that we are clear about what's an underachiever and what's an
right.
overachiever.
See, and I consider that work in progress. How you just described that, to me, that's a work in progress. When you're working on, you're working on polishing something, anything that you're continually working on, whether it be self improvement, or whatever. To me, that's a work in progress. I
Okay.
don't, I don't consider that a person that's underachieving. I just think
Um,
you know,
here's the reason why I disagree. How long are you gonna pause your shoes before you put them on your feet?
as long as it takes.
You know,
I mean,
how long? How long
well,
does it go? Does it go until you die? Or when I mean when do we get to see the end product of what's going on?
Well, I think it depends on what that. I think it like for example, cousin Skip may have a goal to write a book, right? And his goal may be to do it by X amount of time. Somebody else's goal may be um, to write a book, but it's an ongoing memoir. So cousin Skip's deadline could be okay. In 6 months, I want to get this done. The other person, a memoir, they're collecting memories, right? So it may take a longer time. It may, I mean, I don't know how long memoirs take, but it may take 10 years.
But
It
that's
doesn't
but
mean that
that's
he is underachieved. It's just two different goals at two different ends. I mean, we can't say what somebody's end should be and how long it should take. And well, by this time you should have done this, and by that time, we can do that for ourselves because we know what our goals are and what our schedule is. But I don't think it's fair to because someone hasn't finished something in the timeline that you or I or cousin Skip think they should, that doesn't make them an underachiever necessarily. I'm just saying because only they know when they would.
no.
I don't know. I think it's
Okay.
subjective.
Oh, well,
I don't know.
well. See, and I go back to, like I said, I go back to dealing with people who um go to a certain level, and they'll pull my coattail and they'll ask me. They'll be like, "Okay, you're supposed to be doing this,
Mm-hmm.
that, and the other, and we're waiting on you to do this, and you haven't done it yet." I can't keep going back saying that. I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to get it done. I'm doing my best. There's a time that you have to do it. That's why when people get fired on jobs and they come and they tell me why they get fired on jobs, I listen to what they say intently. I listen. Midbury told me one time, he says, when you fire somebody's son off of a job and they act surprised, you need to rethink what you're doing. But if you fire somebody off of a job and they don't act surprised and they just say okay and roll out, you know you made a good choice. But if they don't know, they don't know. Because I've seen people get fired from jobs and they'll be like, well, she fired me. She didn't like me because this, that, and that. I'm just like, you're getting personal. Let's talk about the job.
Right.
Did you know the job?
Did you do?
And
Right.
and right and a lot of jobs are famous for not explaining the culture that goes on the job, for one. For number two, they don't explain how they go about their policies and procedures. Now I'm talking about somebody sitting behind Nancy and pointing over her shoulder saying, Nancy, this is what you do right here for this, right here, right here. That's not training you on how they go about doing their job or you go about doing your job. That's not a training session. You know what I mean? A
Mm-hmm.
training session is when you sit down and you actually train that person on what to do, and they sign off when they have an understanding, saying that I understand what this particular job is. Yada 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 yada. I got it. You know what I mean?
Right. So let
So
me
it's
ask.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No. Go ahead. I cut you off.
I'd like
No,
to
no.
I'd like to make a final comment about underachievers so that we don't finish the whole show on underachievers. Um, I take it that there are levels of underachieving depending upon whether or not you're working independently or you're working with other people as part of a group. That seemed
Right,
to be what I took from your last comment.
right.
So if you're
So
working independently, this is a
mhm,
self-satisfaction thing.
Right.
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 Are you your own judge under these circumstances? But if you're working as a part of a group, then you're being judged by the other people with whom you're working.
But
Right.
and also too, you're being judged by if you like with this podcast. If we don't have everything together, everything is not going the way it's supposed to be going. We're judged by a whole group of people. We judged by people who watch this, the people who listen to it, the people who go back and listen to it later on. You know, they have the deciding factor whether they're going to be a fan to the show or whatever. And it's pretty much just three of us or the four of us if we have a guest on the show at that particular time. So y'all want to go to the high achiever level and go
So
from there?
so let's so wait. So wait. let's move it forward a little bit with the overachievers. How do you you were saying that there had to be somebody to pull your coattail and say, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Would it be fair to say, and anybody can answer this, that some people don't have that person to pull their coattail? Some people have a vision but don't know how to implement. You know what I mean? So what would you and either one of you suggest on how to help somebody that may not have those resources readily available? You know what I'm saying? Like what would be what would be the first step that you would give them? I mean, maybe they don't have anybody to pull their coattail. Maybe they don't have somebody to say, hey, you need to really work on this because you got another book in you or whatever the situation is. What if there's a person that doesn't have that? Because for me, with this podcast, this particular show, the goal, I hope the goal is, at least for me, is the ones that are underachievers, kind of push them in the right direction or give them some advice, you know what I mean, on how to push through that, whatever it is, that blockage that's causing that stagnation. So what would you say to
I'll,
someone?
I'll give you the keywords right here. Tina summed it up best when she says to hold on to your passion. You have to have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for it. I tell anybody that. Whatever you're doing, if you're hungry, you have to have a passion for it. It's almost like eating a saltine cracker and eating a rich cracker. If you're hungry enough, you may not like saltine crackers, but you'll eat it and it'll taste like a damn rich crackers to you because you have that passion and you have that wherewithal to go out there and go get it.
But
I
there's a lot of
feel,
people with passion that's stagnant. You know what I
but
mean?
my thing about it is that, and the reason why they're stagnant is because that's the choice that they're choosing to be stagnant. Nobody,
Not
oh,
necessarily.
oh,
Some people don't listen. There's visionaries, right? There's people that are visionaries. They see the big picture. They set a goal, set a plan, and then there are other people that just see the end result but have no idea how to go from. It's like you see what you want at the end, but you have no idea how to go from A to get to that point. And
but
it's not
my thing,
everybody.
but
But I'm
my
just
thing
saying. I
about it
think
is that they
mhm,
much really don't want it if they don't take the time to research it
that's not true.
to research it and find out how to get there. Before I even started
Some
my
people
book,
don't know.
but hold on for a minute.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Before I had to I had to research it and find out what to do and how to go about doing it. I had to
Right?
find out. I had to find out that information. So it was not a point of me because I didn't know. You know, I didn't know. That's why I sought out somebody who had been through the path before me, and I went and got that information from them because I was just that thirsty to get it done. And I'll share a quick story with you, and I don't want to take up too much time. Um, the only reason I got into real estate was one reason alone, and this will be chronicled a little bit in my next book. I heard my stepmother tell my father that little Melvin will never be nothing in life. From that day on, I took that energy and I put it all into real estate and I put it all into buying the best, getting the best, and making money and doing this and doing that. And once I got everything that I wanted and I achieved everything that I wanted, I realized that I didn't want any of that shit. I just did it to prove to everybody else that I was going to be something and I was going to make this particular thing happen. That
So
was
so
that was pretty much that was pretty much my thing. I didn't even
so
like doing deals once I realized why I was doing it. So
So what would you tell? So having said all of that, you said that you researched, you went on, you read about it, and all of those. So just hypothetical, if there's somebody, say for example, that's listening to this podcast right now, right? They got an idea, they have a passion, but they don't have your personality or my personality or cousin Skip's personality to be a go to do all this research or whatever. What is like one thing you can tell them that could perhaps motivate them? You know what I mean? Like kind of give them a nudge, because some people, it's like you know you can swim, but you're on the edge of the pool, about to dive in 12 feet. You got some trepidation, even though you know you can swim, but you're scared to jump in. So, what is one thing you can like a piece of advice you can give somebody that's teetering that wants to get out there, but may be scared, may not have enough confidence in themselves. They got a passion, but they may not have enough confidence in themselves to take that dive.
Maybe it's
Because
not
there's
their
people out there.
passion. Maybe that's what I would have to tell them is that maybe it's not their passion.
No, I don't agree with that.
And
I
maybe,
don't
maybe,
agree
maybe
with
it's
that.
not their passion. And I'll give you a good prime example because you live in the DMV. There's a pie out there that's in the stores now called furlough pies. These women came from Department of I want to say I don't know if it's Department of Energy or they came from one of the departments. They got out furlough, and they started this pie called furlough pies. And this pie took off. Ellen wound up giving them like 10,000. Jamie Foxx gave them 10,000. They wind up being in all Walmart's, Targets, and all those places like that because they took a minute and they took an idea, and the idea took off from there. So my thing about it is that if somebody's stuck and they're in a position, it's certain things that they probably need to deal with eternally on the inside. Because I
Hmm.
tell people all the time, it doesn't matter what goes on with you around you. Only thing that counts is what goes on with the inside of you. So it's something inside of you that's going on
It's called.
that won't let you get to that next level, or you're not pushing yourself to that next level. And my thing about it is that I tell people all the time, fear means false evidence appearing real. It's not real. It's not real at all. It's called false evidence appearing real. Fear. It's not real. The only fear that a man is born with in life is the fear of falling down and the fear of loud noises. The rest of the fears that we have in our life are man-made fears. So
We
that's
have.
how I would tell them.
Okay. Okay. That I mean I think that's good advice. So basically, they need to, in other words, exercise whatever demon, their demons, so to speak. Um.
Yeah.
So Priscilla, I hope I say her last name right. McCabe, I believe that's her last name. She's saying, I love my job and am passionate about it. The perfect position for me. I could move up and forward, but have no desire to. Am I an underachiever for staying where I know I'm happy and content? So she's saying she has a job that she loves. She can move up and forward, but she has no desire to do so. So does that make her an underachiever because she's happy and content where she's at?
No, no,
Okay.
no. Let me tell you why. Because she said the key word, I'm happy and content. She didn't say
Right.
that the family had to be happy and content. My mama got to be happy and content.
Right.
Big mom and them guys. She said, I'm happy and content. And I understand where she's coming from. Because I remember when I worked at the Department of Corrections, there was this captain there. And he was extremely smart. And I asked him one day, I said, why don't you try and run for the warden's position? And he said, you know what? I'm content in the position that I'm in. And I never understood that to years down the line. So when I got into my situation, and I understood that you have to be happy where you are. And if you're happy in the space that you're in, that's all that counts. That's all that counts. And some people are happy at right where they are and doing just what they're doing. They don't want no more responsibility. They don't want no more if ands and buts about it. That's just what it is.
So okay, so let's segue to the underachiever. So one question I do have,
To the
from
overachiever.
either one of you,
To the
huh?
overachievers.
Are we doing underachiever or overachiever? We're doing.
No, we did.
Well,
We just did
we
underachiever. We're
started
doing
with
overachiever
underachievers.
now.
Okay, so this is a question that could be answered for both sides. What are some of the characteristics that make the difference between an overachiever and underachiever? And that's a question, just in case somebody doesn't know. Because I've read that people that are overachievers, they have a set routine that they do. Like I think you said you pray in the morning. Some overachievers, they have a specific thing that they do every single day. So what are some of the characteristics, or what are some of the habits, I guess is a better word, that you think underachiever, overachievers develop?
I can't tell you about underachievers because I try not to deal with them, and I try not to be one. But overachievers, I know meditation and prayer is a great one.
Okay. Somebody, Elizabeth Mulligan, I believe that's her name, right? Apologize if I don't say your name right. I believe that's the pronunciation.
Elizabeth Mulligan.
Mulligan. Okay. So she's saying, Nuji, people go forward in life in a number of ways. Some have strong role models in their family, teachers, and or friends. Some people do not know how to go forward and find their place in the world. They may or may not figure it out along the way. Did I miss some? Did I? Oh, wait. I think I missed some of it. Okay. Along the way, some people are late bloomers. Some people do not have the money for education and do not know how to get it because they are so overwhelmed by their life. Everyone needs mentors and a strong network to help them, especially the underserved. It is fortunate that some people find their way from poverty to success. That's very well put.
I think in the final analysis
Thank you,
regarding,
Elizabeth. Sorry.
thank you, in reference
Yeah.
to underachievers, there are many factors that go into a person being an underachiever.
Hmm.
But the assumption of an underachiever is that they have the resources that they need in order to get the job done. They don't, because there is something within themselves that either they don't have the drive or the motivation. It's not resources that keep people from being underachievers. This isn't,
Overachievers.
or an overachiever for that matter.
Right.
This is an inner characteristic or character trait that keeps an individual from aspiring to or achieving their potential.
What was the tennis player name? Arthur Ashe said he has a great statement in his book. He says, "Start where you are. Start right where you are. Don't worry about going out getting a new racket or new balls or whatever. Start where you are and what you got." And that's what you do. I've seen a lot of people who have way less than I had to start off with and came out to be much more successful and do a lot of big things with their life and go ahead and go in that direction. I've seen it time and time again. So that's just the way it works. But this conversation is open for like different opinions and how people feel about themselves and different things like that. But Nancy, you said something important. It's something internal on the inside, and Skip, you bounced off on it too when you said it's something internally that goes on that people why they don't get to a certain place and certain things. And I know sometimes I have been I've been guilty, and I don't know if guilty is a good word when you're a black man in America, but I've been guilty of dropping people off um because we weren't going the same route. I got friends right now that want to get up, hook up, meet up, and let's do this, let's do that. But I'm just like, for what? I got these podcasts I'm trying to do. I got other things that I'm trying to do. I don't have time for that. I'm not that guy from 20 years ago, or I'm not that guy from 15 years ago. I'm somebody totally different that I'm trying to get to that next level or and my thing about it is that I'm a little sometimes biased or a little indifferent to people who, when I don't see them trying to move and do what they need to do, but want it though. They want it bad. They want it really bad, but they're not doing anything to get there. So that that
What
gets
is
me.
the definition of an overachiever?
Good question.
I think for me, I think my definition of overachieving would be Steven Spielberg. He's my overachiever. nobody in the world should have that many hit movies like he does. He's just the over. He's just it's just over the top. Jeff Bezos is another one. Master Moose, who was the black man and the richest man in the world at one point. I think that he was overachiever. Nobody should have that much money and be able to control England, Ireland, the United States, and everybody else with that type of money. So I just think that there are people who just overachieve, just you know. And then again, when we're talking financials, that's a different thing. And like Nancy's saying, when we talk personal, we're talking about different things because your your professional life can be great, but your personal life can be a wreck. You know what I mean? It can be a wreck. So
And you
do we
see that
want?
with high achievers. Not
Yeah,
all.
right.
You definitely see that. I think this is, I mean, I think this is really good. And I think hopefully this discussion is helping some people that may needed, some of the responses that they've heard to kind of push them, or seek out somebody to help them or seek out some information in that regard. So callers, feel free to give us a call, 202-227-6500. We will be more than happy to take your call and read it on the air. I'm sorry, take your call and or read your chat on the air. Um, Speaking of that, Priscilla McCabe said underachiever versus underserved, an interesting distinction. Is there a distinction? I think so, but what do y'all think?
There's absolutely a distinction.
Because people would consider underserved people as being underachievers. Some people would.
Yeah, I think that undeserved and to Priscilla's point is that I get so tired of white America saying you black people need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but if you don't have on any damn boots, how the hell you gonna pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
To that point, Mel, to that point, hold it right there. To that very point, it goes back to what I was saying. If you don't know how to get to that place to achieve, why all of a sudden they're labeled underachievers? You just said if you want us to pull up our bootstraps, we ain't got no boots. We want people to achieve their goals, but what if they don't have the means to achieve their goals? Just saying. That was
Everything,
But okay, you saying that if they just don't have the means to achieve their goal. But my thing about it is that first thing, if you tell me to pull myself up on my bootstraps and I don't have any boots, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find out how I can get a pair of boots. If
right.
I if if you drop me off in the jungle with nothing, I promise you I'm gonna come back with a damn chinchilla coat on. And that's just the way it is. And that's just my thinking and that's just
Right.
my mentality. I'm gonna come back with a chinchilla coat on. And if you don't know what a chinchilla is, that's the best furniture you can buy. So
But
with that
everybody
being
don't have that drive and that motivate that people everybody
and that's not my fault. That's not
nobody's
my
saying
fault
it's
that
your
they don't
fault.
have it.
I'm just saying it needs to be considered when we're talking about who we're labeling as underachievers and who we're labeling as overachievers. Everybody doesn't have the same drive. Everybody
everybody
doesn't have.
doesn't want a chinchilla coat.
I know
Exactly.
damn well I don't want no chinchilla. I'm just
Right.
saying
I'll take one. I'll
that's
take
too
one. If
long of a
anybody
word.
want to donate one, I'll take one.
You walking
But
around looking that nah. I
but
don't want no
but my
chinchilla or no raccoon and none of that.
but my thing about it is that you have to you'll never hit a home run until you put yourself on base. You have to get up to bat. You have to get up and bat. So
Priscilla
it's just
said
what it
no one
is.
wears chinchilla in the jungle.
Right. So
Go
with that
into
being
jungle,
said,
Priscilla.
you're not going to get out there. You're not going to do anything. You just not. It's just what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Overachiever is a word that has come into the vernacular. It was first used in 1939. It was used in the context that overachievers are individuals who perform better or achieve more success than expected. Well, you can see the subjectiveness in this, because whose expectations are these?
Right.
Right.
And who
Um,
determines what's overachieving?
exactly. Right. So these are all very subjective points of view. However, there is some validity if you know an individual and you are aware of their abilities and their
Right.
capabilities, and you just see them sitting on their hands. Well, obviously, these are people who are, well, sometimes lazy and underachiever are synonymous. It depends upon how much you know about the individual.
And
Overachievers
but my
Overachievers are
go
people
ahead.
who are driven. They're driven.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
that's a given. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I get so tired of people hearing people say, nobody wants to help me. Nobody's doing this for me. Nobody's doing that for me. Nobody. I mean, you get tired of hearing the woe is me, and we bring in the violins. That's old because we live in the age of technology now. We live in the age of technology. Nobody should be singing that song. Nobody should be
That's
singing
true.
that song.
If you want some information, the information is out there.
Right.
Right.
It's out there. It's out there for you to get. It's out there for you to grab. It's out there for you to do what you want to do with it. And as I tell my holy and thou sister, who's a reverend, that you got to use your superpowers for good. So I mean, go on the net and do what it is that you need to do to get to where you need to get to and find the information that you need to find or whatever. And don't worry about what somebody else does. My biggest competition that I have right now, my biggest competition that I have right now, I lied to you not, is myself. Is my biggest competition is the fact that how well that I'm doing under how well I could have done under the situation that I'm in right now. I'm my biggest competition right now. I'm my biggest competition, and
So
I will
would you
always be my biggest competition.
so would you say all overachievers were once upon a time underachievers? This is a thought. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just that's a thought.
No, I
No,
would.
no, I wouldn't. No,
I knew the
no,
answer to that. I just
no,
wanted to get to express it on
Sure
your
you did.
faces.
no.
What are some of the drawbacks of we know the drawbacks of being an underachiever.
Right,
You don't
right.
accomplish your dreams or your passions. What are some of the drawbacks of being an overachiever?
They're not always flexible. They're not flexible when it comes to things that they're not well versed in.
They're well known to be inflexible. What else?
Exactly. They're very staunch in their position. They don't know how to pivot when needed to pivot. They just it's like this. That's it. Just saying.
No comment.
And sometimes overachievers, how can I put this delicately? Sometimes overachievers, because sometimes their drive is such that they're sometimes they lack in compassion and they lack in humility. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying all, I'm not even saying some. I'm just saying sometimes you can find that. Some overachievers are considered arrogant, and they may not be. They really may not be. But then there are some overachievers that are arrogant because they're not humble. You know, they can do their Hail Marys full of graces and all of that, but they're not humble. So I think that makes a difference. They have, or should I say, they have not been humble. I don't know. That that's just
Well,
Well,
I
a,
think
just a
well,
thought.
well. Go ahead, and skip. But
no, I think
there's a question from Elizabeth.
Mulligan,
Elizabeth Mulligan. I think
and
overachievers are
it's
people
a
who.
very good point.
Yeah, she does. She does make a very good point. I think the overachievers are people who never give up. It says they work incredibly hard to achieve their goals. It says overachievers come in many categories. Steven Spielberg is a wonderful overachiever. Oprah,
Hmm.
who had such a challenging childhood, is another.
Wonderful
I
overachiever.
just stop. Wonderful overachiever. Um, a single mother raising her children alone, working two jobs and just going to college at night and getting a degree in nursing or accounting. Okay, I definitely I definitely think that her point is well taken. Her point is true.
Yeah.
Her point is, yeah, her point is definitely true. My thing about it is that I think when it comes down to the overachiever, I think is how hungry you are. How hungry are you? How hungry are you? Are you willing to eat, sleep, and do what it is that you got to do? Or do
Right.
you want to go out and have those extracurricular activity things on the side when you can be working on your goal to get to where you need to be at? How hungry are you? Are you really that hungry to get there?
One point she made, Mel, that I think is very important at the end, she said, like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so is an overachiever. I think that's a very important point to really point out. Um, speaking of hungry, speaking of hungry, um, if it's okay with you guys, I just want to present to you guys a very simple breakfast dish that anybody can make. It'll take less than 15 minutes to make it. So if you guys are okay, I'm going to go ahead and play that beautiful bean footage. Okay, it's not beautiful bean footage, but I'm going to go ahead and play that. And then we'll come right back to the discussion. All right? Everybody
Okay.
good? Everybody
Yep.
good. Oh, sorry, guys.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. It's me, Nancy, once again. So, listen, I'm going to do a breakfast omelet for two this morning. Um, I'm going to kind of rush through it a little bit because I'm late for work. Anyway, we won't talk about that. I think I got a gray. Anyway, I digress once again. So this is going to be really quick. The breakfast omelet is going to be big enough for two. I'm even going to do a second version, basically just adding additional ingredients like spinach and some Mexican blend cheese. But all of this is going to be real simple, easy to follow, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so here are the ingredients you're going to be using. You're going to use some cheese. This time we're using Italian blend, some peppers, mushrooms, onions, pre-cooked turkey sausage. You can use bacon if you like, and some organic spinach. Not canned, remember, fresh organic spinach. We're going to chop everything up. My onions actually are there. They were just burning my eyes, so I had to move them. Anyway, so chop everything up really nice. We're going to be using 5 eggs. And if you noticed, I added some salt and pepper. I just used maybe about a pinch or two of this pepper and about a pinch of the salt. We're going to be using sunflower oil, and I believe I got this at Giant also. You can use any oil, but for this particular recipe, we're going to use sunflower oil. Okay, so we're going to use about 2 tablespoons of this sunflower oil. Make sure you put it in a warm pan, hot pan, so that it spreads evenly over your skillet. You want to add in your pre-cooked turkey sausage. If you are using bacon, you want to cook it first. You want to cook it, the turkey sausage, just until it gets a little brown. As you can see, it has some little brown edge on it. So that's all you want because it's already done. So you're not cooking raw sausage. You want to add all your ingredients, with the exception of the turkey sausage, into your skillet. Add some salt. You might want to taste it after you add the salt and after you stir it in, of course, just to make sure you have enough salt for you. And you might want to add pepper if that's what you choose to do. But you want to mix it well. Make sure you have it mixed well. And you should be doing this over medium heat if I haven't mentioned that. Okay, so I wanted to stop here. What you're looking for when you're sauteing or your vegetables, your peppers, your mushrooms, onions, and all of those, you want to cook them so that they're a medium texture. You don't want them too soft, and you don't want them hard like you just got them out of the refrigerator. Okay, so remember that. So keep sauteing them until they get to that consistency. All right. Okay, so you want to pour your egg mixture into your skillet. Add your sausage, your cheese, and your green pepper mixture. Fold. Voila. That looks pretty. Ooey gooey goodness. Ooey gooey goodness. Add in your egg mixture. Spinach, pepper mixture, and your Italian your sausage or your bacon, whichever you choose to use. Add your cheese and your spinach, if I didn't mention that. Got a big version. Fold it over. Add a little cheese on the top with a little parsley. That's the dried parsley, by the way.
There we have it. Just a real quick breakfast frittata. Omelet, which goes a long way. So there you have it. Feel free to go to my YouTube channel. There's more things on there. There's tips of the week, different variations of different things up there. So check it out. All right, back to you,
Thanks, man.
gents. Thank you. Thank you.
I believe that's it. I just want to tell everybody, chase whatever goals or whatever dreams that you have. Whatever it is, be your own judge on how you get there, what path you take, what you need to do, how you need to go about it. And whatever it is that you want to do, just position yourself correctly and know that if you can accept success, you can accept failure too, because the two go hand in hand. And you'll be good at whatever it is that you put your mind up to do it, because if you can see it, you can achieve it. That's just the way it works. And you're not a work in progress. You just have goals that you have to meet. Stop saying that you're a work in progress. You're not a work in progress. You just have goals that you're trying to meet and that you'll get there. Because progress means that you just keep chugging along, like a train. And you're not a train. You're not a train. You're a human being. So you'll get there. So I just want to tell you, hey, you got to go. You're trying to get to, hey, by all means, do what you need to do. That's it for me for today.
So just final words from piggybacking on what Mel said and what Cousin Skip said earlier. The other thing is, I think it's important to reach out to someone that is doing what you want to do. You want to be an author, reach out to somebody that you know that may be an author, or pull up a YouTube video. Go to YouTube. I mean, YouTube really does have just about everything under the sun to find. But and if you don't feel like you have that personality, that outgoing personality, reach out to someone. Think Small Business Association has coaches. They have mentors that you can reach out to, and because sometimes we all do need that push or whatever. So I think that's important. I think this was a very good session. Hopefully we've given people some good insight, some good takeaways, to help them kind of push to that next level of setting those next goals and reaching those goals. So that's all I got. Cousin Skip.
Be careful being too hard on yourself. If you have an objective, if you have a passion, work on those objectives and passions. Do what you need to do to fulfill your goals, your desires, and your dreams. But be careful setting your standards based upon what you think someone else would have you do.
Right.
What you need to do is make a plan for yourself and work on that plan. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
A hearty discussion.
Yes, right. love. Be kind to each other.
Okay. And look out for our next podcast coming soon. All right. Talk to you all later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.